In this video we're gonna see the top 5 mistakes in bash shell scripting when you're starting. So the first one is in the if statement. So let's say that I have a variable here where I put the value hello and I create an if statement to check the value of this variable, and I go like that. I check if this is equal to the string hello. Then we can write something like all good, and then we close it. If we write in this way and I run the script, you see that we get an error here, even though it is showing me that we have hello equal hello, so it should work. The problem here is simply the spaces. You want to leave a space here and a space here, and also it is good to leave a space here too. So if we save that and now we run this, everything is fine. And of course, the same goes if you want to compare two numbers and we go like this, 3 equal to 3. So let's write all good 2. Again, we get an error here, and again for the same reason, we want to leave a space here, as you can see. The second mistake is the opposite of this one in terms of spaces, and is that when you define a variable, you don't want, in this case, to leave spaces, like this one, for example, where you will have a problem here, or also if you leave a space here. So for declaring variables, you don't want to leave spaces, while when you're using the if condition, you want to leave spaces on the side. The third mistake is more subtle. Let's say that we have a string like this one with hello there, and just to check that everything is okay, we echo this out, and then we use again an if statement. Let's use this in a proper way, copy this one, and let's check if this is true. Let's write all good 3. Now you see that we have a line and error with too many arguments, and this is because this value here is a string with a space, so it is interpreted as two different values. So what you want to do to avoid this, and I highly recommend you to do that all the time to avoid any kind of problem, is to wrap this variable inside commas like that. In this case, this variable will be considered as just one value, one string, and so in this case, if we run this, you see that everything goes smoothly. This is very tricky when you're examining files and you have some files that, for example, has spaces in their name. So for example, right here I have all these files, and as you can see, I have a file that is called second trip with a space in between, an executable file. Let's say that we're running a script to check what files in my folders are executable. So we start with a for loop inside every file that I have in my folder, and then we want to check if the file f is executable, and you do that by adding the option -x in front of the file, and then we continue. Then let's write the file f is executable. Done. So these are all my files, and let's run the script. As you can see, we get that all these files are executable, and it is correct because all these files here are executable. Then we arrive to project.sh, which is executable again, and after that we get an error. So we're getting an error here on second trip, and we get the error of binary operator expected, which is not very clear the first time that you read this. But again, the problem is that when we arrive to this file here, the value $f, which should be this name here, is considered as two separate strings, two separate names. So again, what you want to do is to wrap this inside commas. In this way, $f will be considered as just one string. Let's check this again. And as you can see now, the file second trip is perfectly recognized as an executable file. The fourth mistake is about variable concatenation. So let's say that I have variable hello, variable yesterday, And let's say that I want to append another string to this variable here. So for example, I want to add underscore today, so that we will get hello underscore today. So let me add some asterisks so that we know that we are on the other part of this program. And if I run this, as you can see, we don't get anything here. Why is that? Because $sign here is trying to access this whole variable a underscore today. So there are a couple of ways that you can go about it. You can get rid of these commas, but I don't recommend you to do so. I'm just showing you various possibilities and using commas here. This way, as you can see now, we have this string today appended to the string $sign a. But the problem is that the best way to use the echo command is with quotes, double quotes or single quotes. So you always want to do that. So in this case, what you want to do is to simply use the correct way to access a variable, which is $sign and curly brackets around the variable. In this case, there is no confusion about what you're trying to access. You're trying to access this variable a here, and this clearly is a string. So if we save that, you'll see that this is working. And this is also good if you want, for example, to append these two variables. So if I want to append the variable b after the variable a, so in this case, I can go simply like that. And as you can see, we have hello yesterday. And you can do all sorts of things with this in this way, because now it is very clear what you want to access. And so in the middle, you can add whatever you want, like an underscore good underscore. And as you can see, you can combine in whatever way you want. The fifth mistake is to use single quote instead of double quote. So when you use the echo command, of course, you can use single quote like that. This is a line, or also double quotes. This is another line. As you can see, there is no difference. However, if you're trying to access this variable here, and you go like the value of a is, and you try to access this variable, you won't get this variable because single quotes preserve the literal value of every character within them. So in this case, they're going to interpret that simply as $sign a. And in fact, you can see the value of a is $sign a. What you want to do instead, of course, is to use double quotes. Double quotes are used expressly to interpret the $sign value, or also the / value, and in this case you will get the value of a. As you can see, the value of a is hello. So these were the top 5 mistakes about Bash shell scripting when you're starting out. They're the most common errors that you will encounter, so if you're watching this video, you will avoid a lot of useless problem with that. And if you're interested in learning about Bash shell scripting, there is a link to the top-rated course on Bash shell scripting down this video. So if you're curious about that, check out the link. And tell me in the comment if there's something you would like to see about a particular topic of Bash shell scripting, or what are some problems that you run into in writing Bash shell scripts. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you enjoyed that, leave a like under the video, and until next time.